yeah, my arm's kind of oily.
Well, maybe.
Hi, it's Erin and Simon from Assets and Arbitrage. Hubby's over here filling up on me because I put some oil on.
Yeah, she's oiled up. She's oiled up.
It's a family show.
She's shiny, she's shiny, she's gleaming. But yeah, we're here. We're here today on an off day, Sunday. So, but like we said, work with us. We're gonna be popping in on some different type of days, just because of how busy um, my beautiful wife is. She's very busy during the week, meetings, clients, things like that. And then we do have 4 kids, sports. It's just, man, it's a madhouse some days. So we catch a day like a Sunday where nobody has to do anything, a quiet day. And we can just sit down and talk for a little bit about some of the things that are going on in the world that are very important.
Mm-hmm.
And also we like to talk to you guys if you have anything, or any questions or something like that. Um, I have a couple articles, but
I think I have all of them.
you have all of them. Okay,
Yeah, but I
that's
just
good.
wanted to make sure that the notification and it did.
Oh, okay, good job. That's perfect.
Hi,
All
Les
right.
Square. How you doing? Thank you
Hey,
so much for
hello.
joining us, cousin.
Thank you for joining us. I'm sorry it's an off time, but thank you for popping in on the off time.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
feeling really good today. So
yeah, on a quiet Sunday. It's a quiet Sunday. It's kind of quiet. The kids in here talking about they want to make food and all that. But
yeah, Reggie's gonna make the cake, and our 7-year-old has requested crab. The 13-year-old's requesting a ribeye. So what
yeah,
kind
these
of kids
guys.
are we
Yeah,
raising?
she got to get them down, man.
So y'all should be eating noodles and
Come on,
noodles.
man. They getting King's disease out here. Uh, yeah, so definitely. What's up, T
Hey,
Will?
cousin
Hi.
T, how you doing?
How you doing? Good.
Hopefully you're not in the office. You're at home getting some rest. But
Yeah,
I suspect you probably right sitting at your office.
we working.
Hi, dear Bit. How are you, sweetheart? I haven't seen you in so long. Thank you so much for
Thank you
joining.
so much for joining. We love you, people. This is what we. I mean, we come here to talk to you guys, and as my wife would say, fellowship with you,
Oh, we got a new cousin in
and
here.
and so that's what we're doing.
King John Michaels. Cousin King. I like it. I like it. Cousin Jake's here surfing turf. But do
Perfect.
you own any altcoins? We do, Cousin Jake, but you know we're Bitcoin
Yeah,
maxis.
so the
So
altcoins, you want to know a couple altcoins I got. So I still have,
we got Hedera Hashgraph,
okay, so I still got H bar. Thank you.
H
See, she
bar.
already on top of it. I still got H bar. She on top.
We got a little bit of XRP. Not a little bit.
Definitely,
We got some
definitely.
XRP.
I spent a good amount of time stacking up some XRP, and so when we got that, I felt like I stacked up enough, so I just kept it where it is. I have a little bit of quant. So the chief talked me into getting some quant,
Okay.
but it had a really good use case, so I felt like it was cool.
Did we use all of our Doge?
Yeah, I used all my
We used
Doge.
the Doge
I
on the
had some Doge.
iMac
I had some Doge when it was close to 50 cents. Man, I sold it.
around
And
that SNL time.
yeah, that was a good time. We was living good back then.
I'm
What
trying to think what else we got.
I got Casper. Casper's a gaming token, I believe.
Reggie talked you into
Yeah, the
that.
kids talked me into getting that one. And I tried to keep my altcoins.
We don't have any Solana or Cardano? I don't think
No.
so. No?
Don't have any of those. And I'm missing something.
Yeah, we Bitcoin maxis. You
I'm
see,
missing
I'm like
something
looking
major.
into the heavens trying to figure out like what else
I'm
we
missing
got.
something major. But just to go back on what you said,
Cousin King got quant.
oh yeah, I do have quant, and I wanted to go back on something that you said just so I don't pass it over about H bar. Is that when we watched The Hidden Secrets of Money, Mike Maloney a long time ago talked about Hedera hash graph,
Yeah.
and so that was one of the main reasons we got H bar because we
That's why.
remembered back like, oh, Mike Maloney was talking
About
about that
this long
a long
time.
time
Let's get
ago.
it.
So yeah, so that's a good use case. But we really watched Bitcoin and
Bitcoin and precious metals.
precious metals because of the performance. And I see a lot of new coins popping up, man. I'm like,
And
dang.
I can't keep up with all of it. We have a cousin named 10 pound sterling. Get a bag of SPLS and WXRP. Now, what is PWXRP? And that's what I'm saying. I'm a person, I don't like to be spread too thin. I mean, I do understand diversification and stuff like that, but cousin Jake, we
It's
like
really,
along your lines where it's like Bitcoin. I know what precious metals does, and we do precious metals for spiritual reasons as well, for our generations and stuff like that.
yeah,
So
it's
I don't spread our if I could put 5, 6, 7, 8,000 in the Bitcoin instead of spreading it across all these different coins where you don't know, you know what I
so
mean? It's just so
let me
many.
ask the chat room. They said that Bitcoin had untethered itself from the altcoins, right? So a lot of times in these uh, cycles, you would see Bitcoin go up and then altcoins, boom, shoot up. It kind of takes the altcoins on a ride.
Hmm.
And so they said it may have untethered itself, and to the point where now when Bitcoin goes up, the
That they
altcoins
don't
don't
do
they don't
nothing.
rise up like they used to. I don't know. I haven't been watching the altcoins. I have kept my eye on XRP, and that price doesn't move.
Price isn't moving.
That price staying at 50 cents
It's
for,
been like that for a couple of years now.
yeah, man. And I'm like, man, when is this price gonna move? But so for people who
Okay, so cousin Jake may have a basket because he said he always get at least one Bitcoin before anything else. So
yeah,
he may have
so
a basket, but we're like you, right? If we tend to focus our capital on what we know works. And for us, right, just our adventure, our experience
yeah.
is Bitcoin and precious metals, like all the way.
Yeah,
But we
because
do
I
have
because
a
I
small
spent a lot of
basket.
time, and I don't know if I've ever talked, but I spent a lot of time with the stock market and had, the bank stocks. I was big on trying to find growth stocks. That's what everybody tell you. Go find your growth stocks. I had my phase and time period where I was doing pharmaceuticals at bio, whatever they call bio stocks, and trying to get the big gains. Remember, we used to get the big gains on the bio stocks,
Mm-hmm.
and
We used to do over the counter stuff.
yeah, yeah, man. But
Mm-hmm.
I stopped all that stuff, man, because I just didn't have the time in the day to keep an eye on it. You got to keep an eye on this stuff.
And then the cousins are talking to each other. But Dearbit said
Yeah, you got to
something
keep an
too,
eye
and
on
that's
this
along
stuff.
the lines where I'm at.
You got to keep an eye on this stuff.
Cousin Dearbit says she tried with the alts, but can't without like enough research. And she says, I have patience. She doesn't have patience for too much more than Bitcoin. I mean, I agree. And there's so many projects and things coming
Yeah,
out, and that's great if you don't have multiple full-time things and you got time to just sit at the
yeah.
computer and play around and keep up with all of
And
that
you
stuff.
gotta you gotta be ready for rug pulls, right?
Yeah, my plate can't really take much more, so we stay focused on what we know works.
Yeah. So it's been working thus far.
Cousin 10 pound sterling said he was around for Bitcoin below $100.
There we go. The good old days, right? I was there for about $250. And
So,
those are the good old days, man. But those were the days. They were still cowboy days, I call them.
but you get to a point to
Yeah,
me of information overload.
from back from now.
I'm talking about like when you're dealing in all of those, oh, sorry,
It's
baby.
okay.
When you're dealing with all of those alts and
Oh
you got to do
yeah,
the research, you got to stay up on them. There's a new project, there's a new roadmap. They're going to burn some of their coins. You know, there's going to be splits and forks and all of these different things. That's great. I hate to say it, but when you don't really have anything else to do for the day, you can sit in front of your computer and do that,
yeah,
right? I got my full time gig. We got our business. We got the kids. They got basketball. Sean's got this. Tino's got that. School's about to start next week. There's no room for all of that.
yeah, yeah.
When I know that I could just shove all of our money in Bitcoin and precious metals, it'll grow just the same
You said,
without the heartache that go along with what come along with some of them altcoins. I think
Man.
personally.
Yeah, so it's all your lifestyle and what like she says, if you have the time, then there's great projects out there. If you don't have the time, man, I'm still scared about rug pools. FTX was a big deal. I got beat for I got beat on BlockFi, so I'm still sitting around waiting for two Ethereum
Yeah,
on
they owe us to
BlockFi. Just
Ethereum.
sitting on two Ethereum on BlockFi because everybody said don't leave your stuff on the exchange, but BlockFi lured you in. They'll give you 15%
Staking.
if you stake your Ethereum, and then
We got effed.
and so that's what happens. So it kind of makes me just stick to Bitcoin. I'm gonna get them to Ethereum back.
Yeah, we are. We're
I'm gonna
gonna
get them
fight for
back,
that.
but they just sitting on them, right? And that's the thing. They're sitting on them. They took everybody's money and all that. They shut down the exchange. Then when you go to the app and you log in, you can't make any transactions. Like if I want to take my Ethereum off their exchange, I can't make that transaction. They say no transactions allowed at this time.
Right, they just sitting on your money, but I tell you what, bitch, better have my money. I ain't playing.
So that's why we kind of like, man, let's get straight to this stuff because it does work very well. But
cousins are talking to each other.
Oh yeah, are they okay?
Cousin T and cousin 10 Pound know each other.
Oh, do they? Okay, man, that's good. That's good. We got.
And now Jake, cousin Jake is in on it.
We got some people.
Kiss up my little Bitcoin baby. I know she's doing well. She's got her sisters taking care of her and mommy.
Well, shoot, man, let's get on this article, man, and tell me what people think. I'm sorry.
Okay, which one are you doing first?
That first article, man, because these bank runs.
You say that first article. Which one's the first?
Oh, my bad. These 94 U.S. bank runs.
Okay. So we call the show On the Run because I remember when Beyonce and Jay-Z had that On the Run tour, and the idea was that they were like bank robbers. But in reality, it looked like the bank robbers is the actual bank. Plot twist, right? So it's On the Run. Let's talk about the banks. Hold on. I just want to make sure the cousins can see everything. No. No. I don't be wanting all of that stuff when I'm trying to work. It'll distract me.
Okay.
Make sure cousins can see this. All right, cousins. I'm hoping that you can see the article, but I want to switch it. I want that to be big and us be small, and I'm kind of confused as to. They have a whole new UI, y'all. It's so annoying when I don't want to equal. There we go. There we go. All right. Mama got it. All right. So here we go. All of this stuff. Dang. So 94 U.S. banks at serious risk of bank runs. That's too many banks, y'all. This includes the Bank of New York, State Street, JP Morgan Chase, and Citi. So it says a total of 94 U.S. banks are at significant risk of experiencing bank runs by uninsured depositors if they show financial weakness, according to a new report. An analysis from Florida Atlantic University finds the billion-dollar banks in question, which includes 7 U.S. financial giants. They have all reported a 50% or higher ratio of uninsured deposits to total deposits. That's scary as hell.
Oh, it is scary.
Right? And like Simon, when money is deposited into our account, Simon like a hawk. He go in there and he get rid of all of that, less the operating expenses for the house. We've talked about this. For the newbies, y'all may not know it, but Simon runs the household and the marriage like a business. It just keeps things in a little bit of order, not a little bit of order, it keeps things in a lot of order and a lot of discipline. But we still need some of the money in the bank account.
You do. And you got to be careful. Now, let's take I want to do a definition of a bank run so we understand exactly what it is.
What are you looking at, babe?
Oh, I'm just doing straight off of Wikipedia. I'm just going to read it. And if you want to bring it up.
But I want them to see it too.
And so we could talk about
Investopedia?
I'm getting mine off of Wikipedia.
Wiki?
So.
Like this?
Yeah, so they can see that?
Yes, they will be able to.
So we want to read the definition of a bank run so everybody's on the same page of what could be going on. And so a bank run They could see it now.
Yes,
Okay,
babes.
so a bank run or the run on the banks occurs when many clients withdraw their money from a bank because they believe the bank may
May fail.
fail in the near future. Wikipedia. So that's all it is. People
But
get
let's go a little bit deeper because it
okay. Go
says
further.
it is when in a fractional reserving banking system where banks normally only keep a small proportion of their assets as cash, numerous customers begin to withdraw the cash from deposit accounts
Hmm.
with the financial institution at the same time because they believe that the financial institution is or might become insolvent.
Yes. And so we talked about last week fractional reserve lending and how low it's gotten, 10%. Some people say it's down to 0%.
And as more people withdraw cash, so we're looking at this, right?
Yeah.
As more people withdraw cash, the likelihood of default increases, triggering further withdrawals. This will destabilize the bank to the point where it runs out of cash and thus faces sudden bankruptcy. We're also looking at, babe, a time where stuff seems to be so tight that people aren't taking out loans, and really that's what the bank lives on.
Yeah.
They live on the interest payments paid
The
back
loan
on the
on
loan.
the debt.
Nobody's People aren't paying back their credit card debt. It's and it's amazing to me that the idea they came up with, establishing a monetary policy based on debt where money is created from debt, that they think that that will work. And while it maybe long term to them was sustainable, it
Hmm.
is just not a sustainable model.
Not at all.
So now even the people who have money are like, oh shit, because where are we going to keep our money at? Where are we going to stuff it if we can't keep? A lot of wealthy people do keep some of their money on the sidelines in the bank.
Yeah. And so you have heard about people hoarding cash um, because cash is hard to come by. You go to a bank, and we've told you, you try to come get $50,000 of your own cash out. They'll tell you have to make an appointment, or we don't keep that kind of cash on hand. Maybe come back in 2 weeks and all this stuff like that. And people don't want to know that their money is locked up and they don't have access to it at all in a physical way. Like I want to know that I can go get my 50,000. I want to know I can go get my 5,000. I want to know I
Oh,
can get my
and they're
500.
talking about now like small sums of money, like $50,000. They need 3, 4, 5 weeks
Right.
in order to have that money. You have to schedule an appointment damn near 2 months out for them to gather the money together to give it to you in cash. And then the freaking questions, right, that they're asking you, why do you need this money? None of your business. But if you don't answer their questions and go through that whole thing because they don't want the money out of their bank,
Yeah.
they won't play ball with you, or they'll tell you we only have 30% of the 50,000.
Okay.
What would you like to do? You may have to travel to another branch far away in
Yeah.
order to get the difference. It's becoming unsustainable.
It's unsustainable, and these are large banks. If you look in the headline
That's why they
there,
said giants
they're the top, top four. They mentioned J.P. Morgan Chase and
and
Citi.
Citigroup.
Yeah, and Bank of New York Mellon. You got to. I mean, you can't. I know that's not in one of the top four major banks, but that's a huge bank, the Bank of New York Mellon. And so you got that bank, and you got these other banks. Man, this is getting dangerous, and people need to know. And if you got all your money in the bank, your savings, or whatever your wealth, just keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it because they're shutting accounts. They're doing all kind of things.
And we noticed that when we were reporting to you guys about those accounts being shut down,
Mhm.
all of them were business accounts,
Mostly, yeah, they're business accounts.
with the exception of one or two that had some weird story to go with it. They were business accounts.
Mhm.
And if anybody's going to be a regular depositor in a bank, it is going to be a
To be a
business,
business, yeah.
not necessarily a person. Especially with all those like internet bankings now, you have a lot of people like your everyday people who are, I call them unbanked if they have internet banking.
Yeah,
When I say internet
unbanked.
banking, I'm talking like Ally. There's no branch to go to. To me, they're still unbanked.
Yeah, those kind of people are
But
unbanked.
why are you just like, it's almost like I keep saying, we are watching the United States in different capacities implode from the inside,
Okay.
right? There's no foreign entity coming in to topple down this infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
right? From politics to banking, it almost looks like they're inside jobs. Like you guys are on purpose wanting to topple this infrastructure. And we
Yeah.
haven't really figured out why. We do understand that regardless, we're moving to a new monetary policy because the cycle is every 30 to 40 years, you are going to experience a new monetary policy.
Mm-hmm.
But in this day and age, we're looking at it and it's like, y'all are sabotaging this shit. Like you forcing a new monetary policy come forward.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And you set the structure up to where you need a bank. I'm talking about for just normal everyday shit.
well, they set it up so bad, and then with the central banking, it's so bad that, like you said, it can't sustain itself
No.
because these big banks, which are quote unquote
Mm-hmm.
too big to
But
fail
they
now.
will.
Remember that they're too big to fail. Will go to the won't they go to the bank? Won't they go to the who would they go to be bailed out to?
To another big bank, right? To a giant like JP Morgan Chase will bail out
No, who
who
JP Morgan Chase needs to be bailed out. Who they gonna go to?
the Bilderbergs, I don't
No,
know, the 13 families. That's above my pay grade now.
no, they're gonna go to the um, oh my goodness. I'm sorry, I'm tongue tied.
To the Treasury?
Yeah, with
To the
Jay Powell.
feds?
Yeah, they're
They're
gonna go
gonna
to
go
the
to the
Fed. They're
feds.
gonna go to the Federal Reserve.
And then the
Thank you,
question
guys.
is, where are you getting the money from?
Well, they can print it out in thin air.
But that's why the system's not sustainable. Right? Because it's
They can
like,
print it
well,
out in
why
thin
can't
air.
JP Morgan print it out of thin air if that's the
No,
case?
they can't. But
You gotta go to the
they're
feds.
contillionaires. They're right there where they can get it.
But even when we talk about the feds, to me, that's the same as going to the 13 families. You really
Yeah,
getting it
but
from.
I can see what you're saying there.
I want to say hello to cousin Tommy who came in the room while we were
Tommy,
doing.
what's up, Tommy? You ain't got no job.
But cousin T Willline says something. Was it cousin T Willline or Jay? It was
Tommy,
cousin T Willline. He said 2 years ago he tried to withdraw 10,000 out of Bank of America, and they explained to him that he has to request it. Out of the 10, he was only allowed to get the 4, so he's still like 6 outstanding. Likely, for those of y'all who don't know, cousin T Willline got his own business, so he's a business owner. Thank you. You put creamer in it. I appreciate it.
so
Trying to turn Reggie
so
into
thank you,
a
cousin
barista.
T Willine, for that, because that is what's going on all over America. And you said that happened to you 2 years ago,
Right.
right? And that's $10,000.
I know.
That's your $10,000.
And it's like a small sum of money when you think about it.
I mean, but it's
I
your
get it if
money.
he asks for 100,000 that he needs to request it, and we only have like 10 G's. I should be able to get that out of 2 Chase machines. Because the Chase machine will only give you up to 5,000.
I don't know. I've
So
been spent a
if
long
you
time.
have the point of sale, let's say your car said you can take up to 25,000 a day. Let's just say the first machine will let you take out 5 because the machine can't give out more than 5. Then you have to go to the second machine to get the other 5.
If you go to a teller, they should have $10,000 in this branch. It's Bank of America.
But peep that they
It's
didn't.
one of the top big 4 banks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it don't have $10,000. That lets you know the fractional reserve is probably down to 0.
So cousin T, tell me this. They
That's
told
crazy.
you had to request it. So did you request it? Like how many days kind of passed by, and then
40%.
when you show up now and they only give you $4,000, like what was that conversation? What did they tell you? Cryptonomics. Hey cousin, thank you so much for joining. We always love when Cryptonomics is here. He's always got the up-to-date info on precious metals.
There you go.
Cousin, I always feel like I'm gonna mess your name up, so I'm gonna call you Cousin A. Well,
Yeah.
people can use Coinbase or Cash App for direct deposits. That's what I mean when I say people kind of like are unbanked. That's what I mean when I
Yeah.
say
Well,
that.
you gotta be
Them little
careful.
internet
You
bankies. You
because
gotta be careful.
no, I mean Coinbase is a solid. It's solid. Just like you can use Cash App for that. I think you can use Crypto.com,
But
stuff
when
like
things
that.
go wrong on
Uh,
Cash App, it's
no,
hard to get a human being, and the human beings you're getting are in other countries who don't
yeah.
understand the I'm
What's
gonna
going
call it
on?
the SOPs,
Yeah, because
right? They don't understand the standard operating procedure of how money works in America. So it's hard for them to
and they
help
don't
you with a
understand because they
resolution.
don't have the access to actual Cash
And they
App
don't
and
even have access to Cash
so
App, so they don't understand Cash App's SOPs, their
so
standard
it's
operating
weird. So
procedures.
so that's you run the risk of that. You can do that with Robinhood too. A lot of people are saying you can bring your paycheck over here and then they'll give you a card. They're gonna give you a Visa card, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that you have access to your money right now. So but like you said, you still have to have a bank to get all this stuff going. Like you can't. You got to have a bank account to start with Coinbase. You know what I mean? You
Mm-hmm.
can't go there without a bank account. Just like you got to have a bank account for Cash App. You
Mm-hmm.
got to have a bank account for
Right,
Robinhood.
baby.
So
Mm-hmm.
you're slightly unbanked, but maybe you're trying to get off the banking system.
Right.
And
And it's so
so,
hard. Like we have been able to, with the grace of God, we have been able to untether ourselves from multiple systems.
yeah,
We cannot figure out how to get untethered from the banking system. That has been the hardest
the
area of
hardest part, I
activity.
think, for me, the hardest part, and you tell me what you think the hardest part is. I think the hardest part is that I have a whole family who still kind of needs the banking system.
Yeah.
If I was some little hermit who was living off the grid,
And my
I
dumb
could be,
ass to be right next to him doing all his crazy stuff he be coming up
I
with.
could get out, I could get out the banking system, off the grid, splitting. I could chop my own
He would
wood.
have me chopping wood out there with them little short shorts on.
We be, oh man, see if we get some
My
YouTube.
dumb ass would be right beside him, like, what did you want me to do now, baby?
See if we get some YouTube views.
No,
I'm gonna go fishing. I'll go bring home big fish,
he got the right wife. I
and
go
then
along with all of his, and they be good. They turn out great, right? But I go along with all of his. I be feeling like Pinky in the Brain. What we doing today, Brain?
and so
He be like, we gonna take over the world, Aaron, and I'll
yeah,
be right behind them.
we halfway
It's
off the grid.
craziness.
We halfway off the grid, but you still gotta pay bills. You gotta send people
Yes.
money.
You gotta
You gotta
play
do
it a
stuff.
little bit
Yeah.
straight, unfortunately, when we have so many um with the kids, right? You got so much on the line that some of it, while we want to be a lot riskier, stop, stop it right now. While we want to be a lot I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell into the mic. While we want to be a lot riskier with the kids, we got to play certain things straight. Now, one of the things Simon did think was a good idea was that we do have a little bit of money in each bank, right?
I
So if
noticed.
there's a bank run on Wells Fargo,
We
the
can
money
do.
that go into Chase is okay. What do you want me to take it off?
Yeah, since we read the article.
Oh,
Did you read the article?
I did. I read it.
Okay. I'm
Since the
excited
money
to
that
hear.
we have in Chase would be kind of okay, right? Or would bide you time until you can figure out what's going on with your money at Wells Fargo and Bank of America and so on and so forth.
And I'm sorry because I never was so somebody might want to come in the comments and let me know. I never was a big fan of small like local banks. I've
No.
done credit unions. I'm okay with them, but I was always.
We can't be in another country and have a credit union
But we were
account.
always used to doing the big four banks, right?
Yeah.
And so
Or
some
the big
people.
three, really.
So who don't you like? Citigroup.
Well, we don't have access to Citi because we were in the Midwest. I had access to Citi as a New Yorker.
I've had Citi. I've had Citi bills who I
Yeah,
owed
because
a
they financed our
Citi group,
vehicles and stuff. But we
but
didn't have Citi because we last left the Midwest.
so we dealt with the
But
big
Fifth
three.
Third is a big bank, ain't it?
It's not the big four, but it's a big bank.
It's not a tier one bank.
No,
Fifth Third, wow.
no,
Wow.
not quite. It's
Mm.
working there. It's trying to get up there.
But we currently have the big three.
But so we always use the big three. So for people who might use local credit unions, local banks, because I know a lot of people use those because it helps you with home loans, it helps you with car
Yeah, there's
loans,
some incentives
business
there.
loans, and stuff like that. So let us know how that works as far as credit unions and local banks, because we
Now,
never really use those.
Cryptonomics, right? He
Yes.
said like the bank is not going to allow a 10,000 withdrawal because they simply don't have it. Especially that was 2
Well,
years
just tell me
ago.
that.
Cousin T. Will line.
Just tell me
Go
that.
on and ask them for that today, even if you don't mean it. Let's see what they say.
Let's do it.
Cousin Jake says, "I tell them, all capital, strong man, give me what I want or close my accounts." Right? You got to do the idle threats. Cousin T. Willine said he went to the ATM. Oh, okay. He went to the ATM. He got to, so I had 6 in the chamber.
And so,
and then he went back and got the rest.
And so, exactly, just right there, cousin T Willine.
Mm-hmm.
If you and I don't know 6 other people went up to the bank and said they want $10,000, that would be a bank run.
That
right
would be
there.
A bank run. They would be screwed.
And that's only
and it ain't in the ATM.
And it's only $60,000. And now they calling managers all over the city like, hey, these 6 black men up here want $60,000.
My mom.
I'm
gonna say his mom because she loved her son-in-law. My mom calls, or our mom calls, and she, she's older. She's the boomer generation, so she don't feel good unless she has like cash, right?
She's silent generation, but
she is because she's older.
Yeah, she's a little bit older. Yes.
But she made money during the boomer generation.
Yes, she did.
That's
she made a lot of money. God bless her.
And she tried to take $700 out at a time because that's what Wells Fargo lets you take, right? Mm-hmm. And she called me and she said, "Erin, I done went to like 4 ATMs at 2 separate banks and they ain't got no money in the ATMs." I said, "Okay." And that's big for my mom to use the ATM, right? Because that's technology. Usually she'll stand and wait in the line. I have to tell her, like, go to the ATM. Well, now she's listening to me. And she's basically calling me to tell me they don't have it in the machines, right? The machine is telling her, and she wants it all, right? So she's not like, okay, well, let me take out $350 and come back. She's elderly. She's, I ain't trying to be out in this hot ass Florida sun. She go to the next machine. No. She go to the third machine. She go. So there's 2 machines outside across the street from where she live and then one inside. That bank didn't have no cash in their ATM, not for her to do that. So she goes to the next one, the next branch. Well, the branches be 10, 15 minutes away. So I said, "So you don't have any cash, mommy?" She says, "Well, I ended up taking out like $100, but I don't feel good if that's all that I have. What if something happened?" You know how old people are. Yeah, but imagine something as little as $700. Like, what if there was an emergency and she needed that like right now to take care of what the emergency was? Yeah. Right? She said she was thinking about just paying the fee and going, because there's a Chase Bank across Caddy Corner to the Wells Fargo Bank. And she said, if they don't have any cash tomorrow, then I'm going to go to Chase and just pay the fee.
I know the convenience is there, but if you go inside and get the teller, they got to give you $700.
She said the second time she went to a teller. She said the teller gave her so much, like, what is it for? What are you using it for? Why do you need so much money?
$700?
Yes. And she was like, "Well, let me call my daughter so my daughter can talk to you."
Well, so she got frazzled by the teller
asking her questions, because the truth of the matter is she don't need it for nothing. It just makes her feel comfortable.
But the lady, you're not.
But she's trying to tell the lady, like, "Well, I use it for groceries, and sometimes the handyman has to." So she don't even really know how to articulate. And the lady's like, "Well, you can use your card at Publix. What else do you need to do?" And she's like, "Well, I do all this finance stuff with my daughter." And she's like, "Well, let me call my daughter." And I said, "Well, why didn't you call me, mommy?" She said, "The lady had me so frazzled. Like," she said, "I always withdraw money when I get paid. I don't want it to sit in there, and I have stuff I need. I want to go to the farmer's market." But that lady wasn't taking that.
Yeah, on that one, you got to stand your ground.
You got to stand your ground.
Stand your ground on that one.
And it's odd, because my mom's always ready to curse somebody. So
when people are misdirected, you ask you questions.
She got turned around.
Yeah, they be like, "Wait, what?"
And I told her, the next time you do that, you call me so I can talk to her. Yeah. But she probably ain't gonna listen to me either. I'm authorized on the check. I'm not authorized on the Wells Fargo
just give her
account.
her money. The
But
woman
yeah,
wants her
bitch, give her
money.
her fucking money.
But see, this is
Don't make me come up there.
and see, this is how they're holding on to our money.
Even the Zelle. If you need to get that, like if you need to call and get that, like the authorization to use Zelle for the first time. Now I get it. There's a lot of Zelle scams.
I've heard.
There's a lot of Zelle scams. I wanted to send Simon wanted to send his mother, my mother. She was talking about she wanted dress and some shoes, and she was talking. He said, "Mommy, I'm gonna send it for you. I'll send you the money. Don't worry about that." So she's, "Oh, thank you." So we go to Zeller the money to her account, right? It says I need some type of authorization to send her money because I never sent her money that way before. She wanted to go on the thing right now. So I'm calling the lady. She's like, "Who is this for?" I said, "It's for my mother." Get it, right? You want to make sure I'm not, it's not a scam. She's like, "Okay, and what is the money for?" I said, "It's for my mother." She
Right.
was like, "Okay, I understand that, but what is the money going to purchase?" I said, "They don't have to purchase shit. It's for my mother." Right? It's a gift to my mother. All I need is an authorization from you. Okay? I said, "I don't need you to ask me any more questions. You just need to give me that little code that go into there." Right? I'm sending money to my mother. She's like, "Well, is your mom in an emergency? Did she call crying?" I said, "No. My mom wants a dress and some shoes. Please give me the like." I was starting to get upset. She's like, "Well, ma'am, I want to protect you and this, that, and the third." And it's going from one bank to the other. So it's the same bank. It ain't even like you trying to protect the money from leaving the institution. So just stop it. Right? No, she's not in no emergency. This is not a scam. I just got off the phone with my mother and I want to send her some money. Just give me the code. But when they can, what's the word? When they can manhandle access to your money, that's a problem. I
So
know T Will line. If you ask for $10,000, I know they gave you the what is it for? What do you need it for? Why do you need it? When do you need it? Who are you giving it
they
to?
called the bank manager out, everything. Like
Right.
I'm like, oh my goodness. So Aaron, tell us, since we banged on the banks for a long time, tell us what Bitcoin does for us. And we all know it, but let's
Bitcoin
remind
saved
the
my
people.
husband's life, y'all.
No. Outside of that,
I will be forever grateful for the Bitcoin. I ain't gonna lie.
let's remind them what the Bitcoin could do for people who are healthy while we're
Oh, for people who are
while
healthy.
we're up and
Like
upright.
in what capacity? As far as it 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 maintains purchasing power for one.
But
That's a blessing.
if you had your, I don't know, $700 and you had it as
Mom, seven
yours and
hundred
you had it in
dollars.
Bitcoin and somebody say, hey man, you could
Oh,
send
she
it
could have
her.
just got it on her Cash App card.
Yeah, if it was just in there and if she said, you know what, you guys are playing around with me, I might switch my direct deposit over here.
Over there, the
And
Cash
then I
App.
had that, I put it on. I don't expect elderly people to buy Bitcoin. I really don't.
We bought mommy some, so we
It's
take care of that for her.
because it's a low time
And
preference
then when she
play.
tell her son she want to dress in some shoes, he just peel it off
Now she
there.
had a hat on the other day. She bought here in Mexico. I
Yeah.
told her. I said, "Hey," and she said, "I bought that last time I was in Mexico." I said,
Mm-hmm.
"All right, that's nice."
Yeah.
So, yeah, Bitcoin helps alleviate some of that stuff, man. You can move stuff around. You got $10,000. You got to keep it somewhere, right? T. Will line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And
because
he runs a business, so like he really don't have a lot of room for maneuvering when he need equipment, technology.
yeah,
Like he do like utility based business.
but when you do stuff like that, you had $10,000 cash in your house.
Oh boy,
It becomes a situation where you have to then protect it.
you got protected from the wife too.
No, I don't mean from the wife, but I'm just
But yeah, like
saying.
I know from intruders,
So
but
for
from the wife too. Like, oh, we got some money in here.
yeah. So if anybody know you keep cash in your house,
Mm-hmm.
you got to protect it for people, intruders, all kind of people. Same thing with precious metals, physical precious metals. You have to protect it. People go all these lengths for their precious metals. They use gun safes that are mounted to the floor. They bury it in the backyard. They do all kind of stuff, man. And so you have to protect it. So now you got $10,000 at home. You got to protect it.
I mean, just go into the car from the bank. You gotta protect it. Oh, tell them
You ever
about
you
that
ever
video.
you ever go out and you got a whole bunch of money cash in your wallet? You be like, man, let me just walk with 500. right? You know, you got.
He don't be letting me have that big money.
No, but because because let me tell you something here, and I don't know, it's been a long time since I've been to the United States, but let me tell you something here. When you go to pay for something, everybody is in your wallet. And I'm talking about
grocery store, corner store, everywhere here. First of all, Wallet got the big Gucci sign on it. That's problem
that's
one.
fine.
But I'll be at the grocery store and people every now and then would lean over, like my husband. I'm not saying like him, but I'm saying you would think they were with me. The way they lean over to see, you know, me counting off the bills.
That's why I say sometimes don't take that much money with you so that it look like you don't have no money in your wallet.
Nope.
Right? Because everybody's looking in your wallet. Yeah. And then if they have an idea that you keep cash in your house, then you could be a target and all this stuff, man. And so I say, don't carry a lot of cash. When you have cash, you have to protect it. Physical cash, right? You got to protect it. You got to hide it in your house. You got to put it somewhere safe. And you know, that's what the bank started for. You're supposed to put your money in the bank and so it be
as
safe.
A security, yeah.
And then now they keep it, they doing shit with it. And
so here's the thing too, right?
Colonel, remember the Colonel? We talked to the Colonel. He had a safe deposit box that he went and got everything out of it.
I think because he had a lot of precious metals
and brought it home because you don't want the safe deposit box to be in the bank and then the bank closes and then you can't have access to your safe deposit box.
And then where does that stuff go?
Right. And so you just bring it on home.
Think about how much cash, right? How much cash is stuck in the legal system. Like it's a legal fund.
It's down in evidence.
It's somewhere. In evidence, but all over the United States, how much cash is outside of the monetary supply because it's locked up. Think about how much cash is outside of the monetary supply because it's stuck in probate for years. Like wealth, like Prince's wealth, like Aretha Franklin's wealth. And I'm talking about the cash part of their wealth, not the non-liquid part.
And I watch these videos because I am a veteran, and so I'm very pro-veteran. But I watch these videos of some kind of like, you know, sometimes Navy SEALs, Delta Force, and they talk about when they go over there and they do their raids. Just bricks and bricks and bricks of US dollars.
Yeah.
US dollars that are going, you know, y'all seen the movie with Ice Cube. What was it called?
What movie with Ice Cube? In the church?
Nah, when Ice Cube was in the military and they was over there, him, George Clooney.
I don't remember. Was it like Black Hawk Down or something?
Nah, it was the movie where they went over there and then they found all that money. Yeah, so.
But I know the movie with Ben Affleck that you like. That be coming on when Ben Affleck lost it.
Yeah, Triple Frontier.
But in addition to
it's a lot of cash over in Afghanistan, over in the Middle East, just cash that they have to seize.
That's seized, right? But it's outside of our monetary supply. So then you have that.
I heard some of the people get a little taste though.
Yeah, of course they peel that off. That's what American Gangster was. Y'all remember when he went to Macy Gray's house and she was like, "Let me see the warrant," and the warrant the whole time was a Chinese food menu. She was like, "Let me see that warrant."
I'm talking about some of the soldiers.
I know, but I'm talking about like American Gangster is all about that.
Getting a little taste.
When you watch those detective shows like The Mentalist and CSI, and there's always an episode about some high-ranking deputy who runs these. Like covert missions against drug dealers, and he drive a freaking Aston Martin to work. Like, wait a minute, sir. You a GS13. Let's look at this.
Let's look at this.
But I just want to talk about, you have all of these factors that affect the monetary supply.
Yes.
I don't know how many of you heard, but Israel got another $25 billion, I think, within the last, I'm going to say 30 days, right, for this war. I need to count up how much they got total since the war started and how much Ukraine got total since the war started. So that is money that is outside of our monetary supply, right? You're sending it off to a nation to do whatever they feel like doing with it. They're going to convert it into their...
So... what is that called?
I'm about to feel this touch, y'all. Don't look.
What is it's some kind of dilemma.
The Triflin dilemma?
There we go.
It's the Triflin dilemma. I got it right. Y'all can look again.
So the Triflin dilemma, because it says if you want to be The world reserve currency, you got to hollow out your own industry and send your dollars out.
A
And
plus for me.
that's what we do. They send the dollars out. There is no real industry in the United States. Remember back in the day in the 70s, 60s, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but we had parents grew up, they worked at Ford, they worked at Chrysler, different places like that for 40 years, retired, boom, nice pension. They worked at, I'm from Ohio, so there was a lot of places in Ohio like Youngstown who had the tires. What tires did they have? Michelin. I think Michelin tires in Youngstown. And the Michelin factory, there you go, in Youngstown. Places like where LeBron James from, Akron, used to be places where there was a lot of factories and industry. And then what happened in the 70s? They took the industries and the factories out of the major cities and took them and put them in the suburbs. And they took the what do you call them, out of public schools.
The trades.
They took trades out of public schools. So young black man who could grow up to be a welder, HVAC, a plumber, just by going to high school and have a good living, no longer can. People are graduating high school back then, all the way up to now, with no skills.
Right.
What skill do you have other than you still are only qualified to just still be on fries at McDonald's?
Not be on fries.
It's like you don't have no skill. Yeah,
retail.
Yeah, you graduated high school, but what can you do?
Nothing.
You can't do nothing. You don't know how to do anything.
And then in the 80s, they outsourced manufacturing.
Yeah, they did.
That was the beginning
and
of
so
outsourcing.
Now you got, I mean, I don't want to turn this into a race thing, but now you got inner cities full of kids who don't have any skills
and don't have any opportunity.
And what are they going to do? And you see them getting in trouble. You see them in and out of jail and stuff like that. And so, that's a problem that's a whole nother show.
So there's the tripling dilemma.
Yeah, tripling
now,
dilemma.
Right, in addition to sending the money to these different countries, we have an immigrant problem in the United States. When you talk to some of these immigrants, they're telling you they're getting $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month cash money on that UN card. They're getting hella money in food stamps, right? But remember, they're not paying into the system. Right? So there's a lot of money going out of the system and no one's paying into it. They're not paying Medicaid, Medicare. They're getting all of these, not Medicare, they're getting Medicaid, right? So they're getting, before we used to be like, nah, immigrants ain't getting all of that because they don't have social security numbers. They can't access it. Now they can access hella benefits. So that's money that we don't have access to within our own monetary
Do we have
supply.
to check the comments?
I'm going to in a minute.
Because I want to ask questions to the comments because I want to talk about the immigrant dilemma and what they're really doing and if people believe that or not. But
believe what?
What they're doing with the immigrant dilemma. But
yeah, we're going to look at that.
But
we're in a time where people can't afford to pay their credit card loans back. People aren't taking out loans because a lot of them, aren't qualified to or don't have it to pay back the ridiculous interest rates. And you're watching the monetary policy just kind of crumble on itself. Even though they make up money, you're still noticing there's huge voids. Why doesn't the bank have any money? Why don't they have any money on hand? Where's all the cash at? And if the bank is going to fail, what is the FDIC insuring? Are they insuring anything at all? Are you only insuring people who have deposits in their account of more than a certain amount of money? Like, what is it that you're actually doing? You can't have a sign on the bank that said we insure accounts up to $250,000, but then not really.
You can though,
but they do.
But you can
every day. T. Willine said, "Aaron, if it works, don't fix it. Keep following him."
Yeah, there you go.
My ass be like, what are we doing today, brain? When you were borrowing money at the local bank, relationships were better, but big banks and small are about the same, right? Since Obama stopped the overdraft fee policy. Okay. Agreed. Hi, Cousin Nerd Up Inc. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for that because I haven't used a small bank in my lifetime, so it's nice to hear maybe people who use local banks and see how that actually works.
Dear Bit said, try to cash a check for $20,000. They told me I needed to
That ain't dear
wait
bit.
to
That ain't dear
order the money.
bit.
She runs businesses.
Okay.
I said, no worries. It's just a positive check. The police called. What do you
Uh-oh.
mean the police called you 4 weeks later?
Hey man, don't call me. How did you?
Finish that story, cousin Dear Bit. If you
Yes.
didn't, I'm coming.
I'll
But
see.
finish that story. Why did the police contact you?
We'll send you the link and then you could pop in live if you want.
Did somebody write you? This says you try to cash a check for 20,000. So somebody wrote you a $20,000 check. If the police are involved, does that mean the check was bad? Because that's
Oh, well, that's damn near
yeah,
federal.
it's a federal crime. Every time you deposit your money in the bank, you allow printing money. Banks don't want to be liabilities, so they loan your money out and the loan becomes your asset. But Jake, you gotta find somebody to loan the money to.
Yeah, don't
And
loan
that
to
is the
me.
problem is people are kind of like,
Drawing back a little bit.
yeah, they're not. This is not a good time to borrow money. The interest rates up too high. Shit's happening. I don't know if I'm gonna lose my job with all the layoffs it's not. People
Yeah.
aren't buying houses because they don't have the 20% down. The houses, and that's where a bulk of their loans come from. Is not even cars, but mortgages. Right? I don't want to buy $150,000 valued house for $750,000. Right? My girlfriend at work
I'd
said
rather rent.
when they went to the closing, it's just a 3-bedroom house in California. She said when she went to the closing, the final cost was $870,000.
Yeah, so you want to be wary of that stuff because they beated you. Beat you. Excuse me.
That was the blackest thing I ever heard. They
Okay,
beated you.
they beat you over the head for 2 generations at least, if not more. To home ownership is the way to wealth. This is what you should do. If you're renting, you're wasting
And the
money.
houses are
So
wildly overvalued.
yeah, they're widely overvalued. Sometimes, if you were actually doing things through a financial lens, renting is right a
Hmm.
better. It's a better.
Right now, it's a
Yeah,
better deal.
it's
In
a
this
better deal.
market, it's a better deal. So when you see that home ownership is down, who's borrowing money?
Mhm.
Businesses are going out of business. There's uh, the freezes, the
And right.
employment freezes.
And
There's the
so
layoffs,
and
right?
so you got to start talking about what's going on with BlackRock.
What's going on with BlackRock?
BlackRock, you know that BlackRock is the biggest hedge fund in the
They're
United
buying
States.
residential houses.
There we go. That's where exactly I
That's
was going.
crazy.
What are they doing?
I know
So
they doing something bad.
all of a sudden, when you go to rent a house or buy a house, it's privatized.
It's privatized.
Now you're not buying a house from a
A
person.
person is
You're
from
buying it from BlackRock.
BlackRock and Vanguard.
Right.
And you got to look at that, right? So the market is right now fear and uncertainty.
Yeah.
Cryptonomics said always store at least 2 to 3 years of cash in a safe at home. Be your own ATM. I
Wow,
agree with that.
well, hold on. That's a lot of money at the crib now.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody know you got it there. You know that's a
Afton
lot of money at the
Banks and the
crib.
drama take out 1,000 every week, and that's what my
That's
elderly
what her
mom
mom's
is all
doing.
right. She's like, I can't. This is too much for me,
Yeah.
and
Put it somewhere, take it, move it, get it out of there. Just get it out of there though,
yeah.
but it shouldn't be in the bank.
But she says, sometimes she goes to use her card and there's nothing wrong with it. It'll trigger a fraud alert. Now my phone's going off. I'm in the middle of a meeting and I'm like, so now I got to call her and figure out what's happening. She said, I don't know. I just wanted to buy some groceries from the supermarket and it triggered a fraud alert. Little stupid stuff.
That's why you
And
want
that's why she be like, cash is just so much
cash
easier.
is easier, just what you said, because
Right.
sometimes the card does that. It does it to us.
It does
here
it
in
to
Mexico.
us. It just
Fraud
triggers
alert.
a fraud. I get it because I felt like, okay, we're in another country, but she's at her local Publix. Groceries ain't even $50, $60. Why did it trigger a fraud alert? And she's older, so she don't know to go into the email and say, yes, it's me, and do all of that stuff to release the card and run it again. Right. So I get the alert, but I have to check with her first. Like, are you at home? No, I'm at Publix. Okay, good. That's where the alert came. Go ahead and try to run your card again, mommy.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I can't do it in time, right? Because I
And
can't
so-
get her. She's in a dead spot, won't answer the phone or whatever. And then I'll find out later and then I'll unlock her card. But
I want to get back to this bank conversation is good. I want to get back to letting in all the immigrants.
He said, low key, if you need cat, it's Jake. Go to the strip club and swipe whatever you need. They got it. That's funny.
At the end of the year, where will you have $2,000?
No, I read that, Jake's comment.
Oh, $52,000
Because he said $1,000 a week.
a week. Oh, I ain't got $1,000. No, I'm joking, but now I'm $52,000 on hand.
He said, how Bitcoin saved your husband's life? Tell that part.
You
Cliff
know,
Notes is here in Mexico. We
who?
have to pay for everything cryptonomics.
Oh yeah,
Cliff Notes version is medical care we have to do out of pocket here in Mexico. He was in intensive care. I don't have credit cards. We don't have any credit debt.
yeah.
So I had to figure out over $12,000 in a 30-month period. And I took it from Bitcoin
She took
and some precious metals.
Yeah, she swiped it. On swipe, but she swiped it.
But I had it. And I didn't have to borrow money from anybody. I didn't have to start a GoFundMe.
Yeah, I don't know if you missed the story, Cryptonomics. I almost died. So
yeah,
it's a long story. I almost died. I had a really nasty infection from salmonella poisoning. It shut down my liver. It shut down my kidneys, and I needed a blood transfusion, emergency blood transfusion. I needed 2 units of blood, emergency blood transfusion, and the blood was in Mexico City. It was a mess. She had to go,
and I had to pay cash for every single service. So when I say Bitcoin saved his life, every time I needed a large amount of money, I just peel it off, one of the wallets. Yeah. I did also take some precious metals money, but most of it came from Bitcoin.
Yeah, so it saved me. I went down. It was just I don't know. It all happened at once. I got salmonella. I got really sick, and
the Lord said thy wife is going to win Wife of the Year award.
She saved me.
Wife of the Decade award.
She saved me. So I was in my sickness in the bed in the hospital. I tried to fight her. I said, "Don't take the Bitcoin."
Oh yeah, he was like, "Well, I could probably do half a pint." I said, "If you don't shut up, you don't shut your ass up." Guys, no. Whatever they say he needed, I went and got that money and gave it to him. I said,
I could do half a pint of blood. She was like,
no, shut your ass up.
Nah, I needed some blood because I don't know.
But it was more than the blood, right? You got to remember all of the IV treatments.
Yeah, I needed a lot of stuff, y'all.
You were in the intensive care unit. I had to pay for all of the diagnostics, all of the labs. Yeah. We had to pay for everything. And it came up at the end. I think we probably spent a little bit over 12.
Well, that was everything with the
That's
groceries.
everything.
But with the hospital. But anyway.
But Bitcoin saved his life because I didn't have to borrow the money.
This is why I say keep, stuff in your coffers because you never know what could happen. Mm-hmm. I keep it in my mind. Like I kept it for the kids because they have asthma and seizures and stuff like that. So I thought maybe if something happened to them, I'm ready. Something happened to my wife, but my wife is a picture of health, so nothing's gonna happen to her, right? I'm a picture of health, I thought, but like I said, it wasn't anything that I was doing wrong with my health. It just was.
It was a fluke.
It was a fluke, and then I needed blood, and when you need blood, it's a real thing. Because
but he was dying.
Yeah, because if I didn't get the blood. Cryptonomics, I was gonna die.
Yeah, he was dying.
So she had to cash out the Bitcoin to get the blood, even though I said don't do it.
I didn't use all of it.
Nah, but she cashed out.
He was mad about how big the chunk was, but in that case, right?
I'm here today.
Trying to nurse my husband back to health. I didn't have to worry about the money part. So I will always be grateful.
So yeah, we always keep Bitcoin on the side just in case.
So that's that story.
Yeah, that's that.
There's no way I'd have more money in the bank than my own custody. Right, you're right. I tell you, as soon as the money come into the account, so I'm gonna get rid of all of it, less operating expenses for the house. Please explain, because I'm a boomer when y'all make it seem like I ain't. I'm sorry, dear Ben. I ain't trying to make you feel ancient. She's just saying, like, whenever we say the boomers, they feel ancient like her dad.
Oh, well, no. I don't know. Aaron uses that term more than I do, but because people said it's a term, a derogatory term. We just are talking about the different generations, and they just have names to them. But the reason the boomer got a negative connotation is because they say the boomers messed up the economy.
Gotcha.
So, they say, what those guys are called? Silent generation?
Mm-hmm.
No, everybody who came back from World War II. Because they came back right after the economy was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were like the heroes. They were the hero generation. Damn, what the hell they were called?
Before the silent generation, I can't remember what they were called.
Yeah, but they came
the
back
silent generation, the boomers.
They came back
Generation
from
X.
World War II, and it's like they saved the economy.
But
And then
they didn't
Rosie
really
the Riveter,
save
all
the
that.
economy.
You remember all that
What
stuff.
happened was when World War II was ramping up, the United States saw the opportunity to become the world's reserve currency.
And war bonds. Don't forget that.
So they saw an opportunity and they took it. And
No. They took it.
They took it.
No, for real, they took it.
I don't know that they manufactured the opportunity. I think it was just like timing and luck.
No, they took it,
but
man.
They took the opportunity to become the world's reserve currency.
They took it by blood.
Les Square said that the Warren Buffetts are using different institutional systems, being that they have big time money. How do they handle it? So Warren Buffett would be considered a quintillionaire, right? He is in touch on a daily basis with the people who print the money. So they don't have those everyday Joe Bag of Donut problems. Mm-hmm. He will never, ever, ever have a problem requesting a large amount of capital and not being able to have it in cash.
Yes. If you guys remember in 2020, Warren Buffett, who was heavily invested in the airlines and also in the cruise lines, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Who took major hits during COVID because you couldn't travel through air and you couldn't travel through cruise lines. And he's heavily invested in that. He, as a quintillionaire, was able to get the money that they were giving out as loans. He was able to get that. Who was getting those first loans when J.P. Morgan Chase and their preferred banking? Who was getting first loans?
The quintillionaires, I'm sure.
Yeah, remember that? You know that J.P. Morgan Chase where you got to have at least 25 million.
The private wealth banking.
Private wealth banking. People like him, he got a direct line into somebody in private wealth banking.
That's not say a daily contact.
When we call for the loans, they just run you, circle you around, go through this,
or even your own money. Like T. Will Line was he wasn't requesting a loan for $10,000. He wanted his own money that was in the account to do what he needed to do to get it done. And as a business owner, you got to remember T. Will Line's doing deposits. I don't know if it's on a daily basis. I can't speak for your business operations, but he's doing multiple deposits monthly in order to keep his business running, right?
So
the movie was Three Kings. Thank you, cousin Nerd Up Inc.
Yeah, it was Three Kings. That movie, they was like
Three Kings, and then I said Training Day.
She said Training Day.
Ukraine putting an ass whooping on Russia right now. I don't know about that. I think that's propaganda.
See, I don't stay up on that, but yeah.
It's industry in the United States is called attention industry. We lead in this, but nobody talks about it. So you're talking about like the social media platforms, cousin Jake, with the ads and the platforms, like the media aspect is what we're leading in right now. They don't want to work anyway. Doesn't matter. Cousin T. Will Line, who don't want to work anyway? Let me know who that is. FDIC don't have enough money to insure everyone. Right.
Nope. And we did the article last weekend.
They don't have it.
And hold on, I'll read it right again.
Cryptonomics. I wanted Dearbit to finish a story because I didn't really catch or understand it in those two sentences. He said, you can't cash, this is Cryptonomics, you can't cash a $20,000 check. Banks will hold the funds for a certain period of time because it has to clear. But with the police call, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Well, how do police get involved if it wasn't a bad check?
Yeah, this is true.
Credit cards is the bulk, and when you don't have money, you use them, right? So the reality or the paradigm that Simon wanted to create was that we don't owe anybody any money, right? That was the big thing.
Yeah, I know.
Which is why when I say Bitcoin saved his life, when some shit hit the fan now, you got to remember your average American can't afford a $200 emergency. Much less a $12,000 emergency in a 30-day period.
50% can't do $200, $200 to $400, something like that.
Yes, $200. It went from $400 to $200.
And so,
in a Pew Research report.
And so,
I think it's like 1 out of 4
And that's why we
Americans
tell
can
you.
afford a $200
That's why we
emergency.
tell you if you're gonna live abroad, you have to. There's certain things you got to be
Can't
prepared
do it
for.
on a shoestring
Yeah, I
budget.
can't complain that it cost me out of pocket money to save my own life.
Right.
Like I can't complain on that. But it did cost me out of pocket. But for years and years and years, we've been getting cheap medication,
Absolutely.
and so we've
Absolutely.
been benefiting off
Yeah,
of it for years and years and
absolutely.
years. And actually, the treatment wasn't expensive. It just was a lot of treatment.
No,
It was
because
just a lot
the
of
care
treatment.
that he received in the ICU here, we used to work in healthcare.
Yeah,
That would have cost a couple millions of dollars in the United States when
yeah.
it was all said and done. But they run that racket through the insurance company.
And everybody
Here, I'm paying literally like for the service, the way the service is provided, because they don't have that type of insurance.
Yeah, it's different.
Racket here.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. But in here, everybody has jokes for you, like maybe you should come back home for care.
Yeah, like fly him home, and
I say, man, I can't hardly walk. I could hardly walk. They talk about.
I mean, they
fly
meant
home.
well, but just as the wife
They did.
knew what was going on, it was just
And
like,
so,
you made cake, babe.
oh, thank you.
Chef
Man, what's
Reggie
up
made
with
some
those
cake.
cakes? We got cake from our son.
Tino
So
iced the
talk to the people. Talk to the people.
That's why the sprinkles like that.
Tino iced the cake.
Talk to the
y'all.
people.
Tino
This our middle son,
Say
16-year-old Reginald
The third.
Reginald the fourth. No,
the third. He's the third.
No fourth yet. No fourth yet.
No.
One day, I'm speaking it.
One day.
One day. There we go. One day.
We had a cake. I iced the cake. He did the sprinkles. That's why they're all.
Yeah. So
Cake
they
looking
made
nice,
a
y'all.
cake with sprinkles. So that
He begged me to do something.
Tastes good though. Tastes good.
it tastes good. I'm down with it.
Thank you, Reggie.
Thank you.
But
for
that's
bringing
what
it.
I mean when I say it saved his life, because that's a major stress that a lot of people have that I didn't have. Right, I was able to focus on his care. I was
The
able to
stress
focus on what he
was
needed.
Paying, like the stress was actually paying because you can't get the money at the ATM. And
But
so
the stress wasn't
you
where
gotta go
am I
to ATM 10
going
times.
to get the money from. That wasn't my stress.
Yeah, but you got to go to ATM 10 times.
That
to
didn't
get
bother
it.
me one iota. Didn't bother me one
Bothered
iota.
me. I didn't want you to keep leaving. I wanted you to stay and rest and relax.
Y'all, he was using me like his teddy bear blanket.
So
Them nurses was only passing medication. He had me doing all of the work day in, day out. I said, Simon, I've been on shift for like 6 days now.
tell them the story about the two nurses who forced me to get a bed bath.
I don't know. We should tell that story.
Okay, all right then. Them nurses.
One nurse
they was on
gave
shift.
him a Foley catheter.
No, we're not gonna tell the story.
All right, and this is a family show, and I shouldn't give y'all the thing, but anyway, she was giggling.
No,
it wasn't
no,
even
never
a
mind. We're
nurse.
not gonna tell-
It
we're
wasn't
not-
even a nurse. It was the girl
was
who
her.
cleaned up. It
Well,
wasn't two nurses.
I don't know why they cleaned me up. You let them clean me up.
Well, I didn't think it would be good to punch somebody in the face, and they're supposed
She
to be
let them clean me
helping
up,
take
man.
care of you.
So
Because I was insisting, like, I'll give him the bed bath because I've been doing all of the work. The only
yeah, she
thing
been
y'all
doing
are
all
doing
the
is
work,
passing the meds.
and all of a sudden they came in like, no, we're giving.
All they were doing were passing meds, right? I'm taking blood. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. We're doing IVs. We're doing everything. And the only thing they were doing was putting the meds in the IV. I was doing the drop factors manually. I ain't did that since high school because they didn't have a IV pump, so I had to do it old school. And like I said, it was using me like his teddy bear, like I just feel better when you're here. And I couldn't. I said, I got to go get your blood. I got to drive all over God's creation to get this medication.
Getting my blood was days.
So when I'm gone for like long periods of time.
But they wanted to wash me up.
Doctors calling, your husband wants to talk to you. What do you want? Yeah. Where are you? Are you coming back? No.
The two young ladies wanted to wash me up.
He didn't like that. But he had a lot of.
She didn't stop it.
Did you want me to punch her in the face?
Just say no. I'll give you
I
a
did.
bath.
I did insist on giving you a bath, and then they insisted, and it turned into a whole. I was getting ramped up.
You were getting ramped up.
I was trying not to get ramped up because I need their help in saving your life.
You let them girls accost me.
Yeah, I had to just let it go. I had to let it go. Wow. They had music on and shit, but like,
they did.
I need y'all help, so I can't punch you in the face over this.
See, So this is some of
the decisions that need to be made,
this
right?
is some of the stuff that goes on in Mexico when you get
Yes.
sick. So,
but they're young girls, right? They're young girls. One's a nurse, one clean. I don't know how the cleaning lady got involved, but they had the best time of their life, which to me is some weird sexual assault, but whatever.
Yeah, I feel
it's a
like I
weird
was
essay
assaulted.
to me, but I just as a man, ego inflated a little bit.
No,
But I didn't have to worry about where I was going to get them. To worry about how we were going to run the household. The kids still needed to eat. Stuff still had to, happen in the house, and money wasn't the problem. Now, I do want to shout out my mom because she sent money too, right? Because to her, the Bitcoin and the precious metals, she feel like that's for her grandchildren, which it is. So she feels like we're taking from their future today. So she was sending hella money to help as well. But that's what I mean when I say Bitcoin saved his life. It helped immensely, and I will always be a champion for Bitcoin and precious metals. I took a significant amount of money out the precious metals too, cryptonomics, probably about 3,000 or 4,000. But the majority of the money came from Bitcoin.
And that's not a whole bunch of money, and we fight hard to make sure we put it back.
Yeah, it wasn't even like we emptied our coffers and were panicked because that was all the Bitcoin we amassed. But it's nice to
have it there when you have an emergency like that.
And I wanted to tell you, I wish we could have did that on, it was been so hard to do, on what we put in and how much Bitcoin like grew. So how much like profit was really at play that helped.
We can do the math on that. That's easy to do math, but
I think it would be hard because like did we spend new Bitcoin and old Bitcoin? It's hard because it's been in that wallet.
No, but when you understand, so say you had some Bitcoin and you've been dollar cost averaging, right? And
I took from some older wallets though.
Yeah. And say your average across the thing is 20,000, right? Then you can tell.
Do the math.
Yeah, you can do the math.
Okay.
But when you go over there to Glassnode Soper, you can tell whether you sold new Bitcoin or new old Bitcoin.
Gotcha.
You can tell which wallet is being moved.
Okay. Because I took the majority of the money from an older wallet because I figured the work was done with that.
Yeah.
I don't take from the Cash App, which is newer for us, and we use that like as an emergency ATM.
Yeah, it saved my life. It saved my life out here.
But I don't have any credit cards.
No, we don't have any debt, and it saved my life.
Dearbit, I don't know. She's got question marks. Is it a law that the immigrants get pardoned regarding taxes?
Oh, so we're back to the immigrants.
Oh, like there's no social security number, which is your identification number for taxes. So if you don't have a social security number and the UN is paying you on that card, I don't think you're paying any taxes. I don't even think you understand how the tax system works in the United States. How would they file, right? And unless they were given, now some immigrants do get, like especially refugees, they get a special social security number that begins with the number 8, or at least it used to be like that. I don't know if that's changed.
Yeah.
Them, right, have access to the credit system. They'll go to the tax place and they'll get that all situated out. And they have to do it, right? They're obligated to do it.
So let me tell you something.
I don't think these immigrants are getting it. They're just coming in buses.
And what people get mad about, and this is what we're going to get mad about, and I'm going to go into this if I can, if you guys don't mind. People get mad because when you go to another country as a United States citizen, an American, as they call us when we travel, you have to have money for the most part. Even the people who travel on shoestring budgets.
Yeah. You can't go there broke.
Ain't got no real money. It's money to these people. You see these people out here who couch surfing and all this weird shit. But let me tell you something. You can't go to another country and be broke and poor. They won't have it. They will only have you if you have some money or something to give to their country.
If they caught you panhandling, or if you were in a situation where you're trying to get money from somebody and they call their local police, you're going to be on a flight back home that night.
Exactly. Can you go get a job in Mexico?
No.
For the most part, no, unless you're sponsored. So if you're not sponsored, you can't just say, man, I'm going to go get a job over here, washing dishes and cooking at a restaurant. No, because somebody gonna see you and they gonna call. They gonna put in a phone call, and you gonna get deported. Just like somebody would get deported from the United States.
Yes, you'll be on a
And
flight
so
that night.
these other countries are smart enough to know we don't let people in who don't bring us any benefit. They love tourists.
But the United States.
What is Mexico's? Mexico has a GDP.
GDP.
Top 3 GDP. What is
Tourism.
Mexico? Tourism, remittance,
payments,
and what?
I don't know. What would the third one be, babe?
Food. Agriculture back from the United States. And so they build their whole GDP to say, hey, come to Mexico, come to Mexico, come to Mexico, come visit Mexico. And that's what people do.
Mm-hmm.
And so they take your money. They don't ask poor people to come to Mexico. They ask people with money to come to Mexico so they can take your money. And when you let these, what do you call it? They don't come with nothing.
Yeah.
And you gotta give them something.
But when you read the thing on the Statue of Liberty, it tell you, bring me your burden, bring me your poor, right? So America is known for the land of opportunity. The problem is now is you're robbing Peter and giving it to broke Paul. The problem, right? Whereas the people who are actually working and paying into the system don't have access to any of the incentives y'all are just giving away. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. Dearbit is confused about the essay that happened to you at the hospital. They never seen a black man before. They men ain't built like ours, Dearbit, and we just leave it like that. Also taught me not to take it for granted, right?
Oh.
I'm extremely lucky. Les Square says, if so, can we prove it? I think the way we can prove is that they don't have Social Security. If you don't have a Social Security number, even that one that the 8, then no, you're not paying taxes, because that's the only way you can participate into the tax system is with a Social Security number. But I think they're doing it on purpose.
So you have to have a Social Security number to be human.
No, not to be human, to pay into the tax system.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure.
To pay into the tax system.
Why
reptilians have Social Security numbers.
Why are they bringing them over here?
That's the question. Now, some of you guys have recently given us, I think it was Cousin Jake and Cousin T Willine, but y'all remind me if I'm right or wrong. It might even be Cryptonomics. Said that they're trying to, now that the Democrats, now that black people, because I ain't going to call y'all Democrats, it's not true. Now that black people are woke and they realize we don't get shit when y'all ask us to do stuff. Mm-hmm. Right? You just want us to vote for you for the sake of voting. You don't give us anything, and you tell us up front, I'm not doing anything special just for black people, right? You go on TV and you do that. So they're like, then what am I voting for? So one of you guys, I can't remember which one of you, came up with the theory that they're trying to replace the black people who are not participating in the system.
Let's talk about it. So the Western world is below replacement.
Absolutely. Absolutely below replacement. We have to come up with a...
Have we seen this play before, though?
Have we?
We have.
When?
Because we seen this play back when, just what you said, Statue of Liberty says, bring us what?
Oh, yeah. Because what they did was, them immigrants from Europe, they called them Caucasian. They had to fill those gaps in.
Thank you.
So that would have been the 20s, right? The 20s and 30s?
Even
Ellis Island?
Ellis Island, they start bringing over the
because remember, the Italians were white now, the Polish were white now.
Because remember, they used to call the Italians niggers, too.
Yeah, because of the Sicilians, thank you, from Sicily, Italy, which were melanated, deeply melanated.
And if you go back and you look at, because everything was black and white, but if you go back, Sicilians, as he's saying, are deeply melanated.
They look like black people.
And so they call them Dagos and all kind of stuff. And then
eggplants.
Where does American, well, we do a lot of stuff, so I shouldn't even get too high, but they bring over the worst part of their people, and their people come over here and start crime syndicates. What's up with that?
Mafia and stuff like that.
Yeah, they got whole mafias. Y'all ever seen the movie Gangs of New York?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
That was a movie that
that's about a true story.
perfectly pictured
Yeah, because it's
what
like
was happening.
the Irish come over and they gonna just start gangs in our country.
And they got beef with the Italians, who got beef with the Polish, who got beef
Right.
with, right? You have all these little intersectionalities that aren't getting along.
But what they all eventually got turned white.
Yeah, they all got labeled, and they really do want to make the Hispanics white.
Yeah,
Right? They're trying to notice
working
when
on
you
it.
read these applications where
on
you
it.
have all of these new labels on what it is that you might be. They're getting to the point where white Latino is a thing. It is going to be like a thing, and that way they can count you in their coffer because, like he said, they're absolutely below replacement, and it's scary to them because the world is melanated, and they will lose control of a world because they're now the minority when they were finding ways to be the majority.
They were fighting to keep the world with the 80-year-old president. It was so bad, they're like, man, we have to run her out here. You know, they didn't want her to be president. They didn't want her to be able to run for president. But he was so bad that they had to let her run for president against an 80-year-old man.
I think they always had that. That was always going to be, because the Simpsons did it like 3, 4, 5 years ago. That was always the plan. But Dear Bit says she went to the bank to check was written from. You still didn't tell me how the police got involved. What happened with the check that police got involved? Was the check bad?
I don't know, man. I don't want the police involved,
Cousin
man.
T. Willline says, Les Square, they're making the laws up as they go. Right, Cousin T. Willline, because the card that they're using is a UN card. For those of you who are not military, understand that the United Nations is similar to the Geneva Conventions. They are a neutral party that is supposed to be about the humanitarian aspects of the entire world.
That's what they're
One,
about.
Geneva, Switzerland is where Lucifer's throne is. Y'all read y'all Bible, right? So anything that come out of Geneva got me side-eyeing it.
Is CERN there or no?
CERN is also there, trying to blow a portal into the abyss so they can bring up Apollyon, which is the king of hell.
Yeah.
2,
Keep that in mind.
we'll do that. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But in using the UN card, to me, and this is what T. Willline, I think, is angling at, is that y'all are finding a loophole to where you don't have to abide by U.S. federal code, blah, 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 because I don't know the code, right? The code,
Yeah.
in order to be into the tax system. And Cousin T. Line is absolutely nail on the head. You done put that nail right inside the coffin, that they're making up stuff as they go. But look how slick they are with it, right? They're not getting paid from a gift card or anything like that. This card, y'all look it up. It is a United Nations card. It's something that they give refugees who are fleeing from war. None of y'all coming from where y'all coming from is fleeing from anybody's war.
And a lot of people say, they're saying all these people are coming from down south, but a lot of them are Chinese. They had Chinese.
They're Asian males who are the same, who are the military age.
Yeah, military age. They have the phenotype of Asians. This is what they say.
So Cryptonomics says something that we figured out recently, is that a lot of places in the US right now are not taking cash, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's that card, you're tapping the card, y'all using Apple Pay, y'all are using Venmo, you're using all these different ways to pay, and places are not taking cash. And they're not taking cash, Cryptonomics, correct me if I'm wrong, under the guise of cash has germs on it and COVID, and we want to protect ourselves, and the coin shortage. Well, the coin shortage one is that the metals, the alloys that they're using in order to create the coins cost more than the coin is supposed to be worth upon minting.
Yes.
So that's one. There's going to be a coin shortage. 1, 2. So it's to cover up those two things. Those are the two reasons they're given to kind of lower cash. But y'all got to remember, whether you believe in that Bible or not, that mark of the beast is coming swiftly, right? They want to get to the point where we can better know what you're going to buy. We want to be able to predict what you're going to buy. And it's hard to do that with the electronic ledgers and stuff like that. I want to be able to pick out Cryptonomics. I don't know what your government is, but let's say your government's Dwight Smith. I want to know what Dwight Smith buys on a day-to-day basis based on that mark in his little hand, based on the RFID chip in his hand.
So we're talking about the mark of the beast. We also, and these people will call what do they call it? Social credit.
The social credit monitoring. That way we can punish
level.
Dwight. You know what, Dwight? You seem to be a bit of a rebel and we don't like it. We're going to punish you.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't get to buy or sell anything for the next 7 days. You're grounded. Right? Or Dwight, you've been doing really well because you told on your neighbor and you told on the guy across the street and you snitched on this one. So we're going to give you some bonus credits. So now you can go get something extra. But we want to be able to get to the point where we know Dwight Smith so well that we can predict what he's going to buy and in a sense manipulate him into buying it.
Into buying, yes. And like you said, manipulate him into doing things and I guess giving him a reward.
Bonuses when like he's good, reward, when he's a good little boy,
okay.
And when he's a bad little boy, he's too much of a rebel, he's an insurrectionist, we will punish the hell out of your ass. And anybody who associates with you. So it's a way to isolate you.
Yeah, it is. And so they're doing a very good job of that in China. If you do the research on that, they're doing the hell of a job in China. And so we got to make sure that we keep an eye on it because it could just wash over the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
China's huge. I mean, people don't understand how much space China takes up and how many people.
Yeah.
It's vast.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever is going on in China could wash over the world.
Right.
And so we have to
And that's the intention is that it does. So Cryptonomics has he said he did hear the story. He was trying to figure out how I got the funds available so quickly. So we are a high income generating family, right? So when the initial emergency was happening, like I said, I worked in healthcare for a long time. I knew the ICU is where he was going to end up. I had a cushion of money that we utilized anyway that I had access to before having to pull off the coffers. It was just a matter of that night when he was admitted, I started to make transfers. So every time, something was happening, there was always a cushion there before I had to make another transfer. So that's why I was able, it's just, what would you call it?
She was staying in front of it.
Yeah, I was basically staying in front of it and understanding. Plus, I was transferring large amounts of money in hopes that I don't have to make another transfer. After about the fourth time, I was like, all right, we need to make a big ass transfer. And then whatever's left over. Let me tell y'all, the minute we brought him home, he couldn't hardly make it up the steps to the house and the steps to the bedroom. First thing he did when he caught himself was he took all that extra money that was in the checking account, put it right back into Bitcoin, right? He started dollar cost averaging that shit right on back. That's the first thing he did. I said, what are all these notifications I'm getting on my phone? He's like, I'm putting the money back. So that's why, right? I was staying on top of it.
It was a lot of money for that blood, man. You guys go look up on the internet, see how much it costs for 2 units of blood. And I told her, don't do it. I said,
don't listen to him. Y'all don't. And he needs another blood transfer, y'all. So don't listen to him. I'm in charge of his care, and I ain't gonna let nothing happen to him on my watch.
I would have been cool.
Don't listen to him.
Because here's what they do.
Do not listen to him.
It's different in the United States. They would have just sent me home sick.
No,
like, man, go home.
No escucharte.
That's what they would have did.
I'm not listening.
Would they have not?
Yeah.
They would have just sent me home.
Well, first and foremost, I wasn't gonna allow that, so don't listen to him. That's one. And two,
they was sending. They was
Cryptonomics. I was all over it. I wasn't gonna let anything happen. This is my actual heartbeat, right? And then the 4 chambers are my children. He's the actual heart, and the 4 heartbeats are my children. There was no way, shape, or form was I gonna allow within my control, right? Anything to happen to him. So I was willing to do, and that's another thing, right? They could have took me on a huge ride. And I was willing to give them whatever money they asked for. I was willing to give it if they were going to save his life. So that's just the end of that. But I did stay on top of it. But I did have a decent cushion to start with Cryptonomics.
Yeah.
So that's really why I had time to get everything off. 2, they do understand
that you got to move money around.
Like, I have the money. That was never a question from them. So they understood that the problem was accessing the money. Because I had to do this through ATMs, and I got to go to multiple ATMs.
And I'm sick, and you like, I don't I'm trying to be here with him. I don't have time to be running around all day with this.
And I've spent a lot of time after giving him care, not sleeping, sleeping an hour, sleeping 2 hours over a 24-hour period. There was a time I think I went almost 46 hours. I didn't make it to the 48-hour mark. I just completely collapsed and went to sleep without sleep, just running around getting stuff done
And
for
she
him.
was like popping up at the middle of the night.
Popping up in the middle. I had to give him care. I had to take care of everything. We had to, empty the Foley. We got to do these treatments. He needs these special IV treatments. We got to calculate up the doses and stuff like that. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I told him, I said, ever since I was 9 years old, I wanted to be a nurse. And I never really did it. And like I didn't I went to nursing school in high school because we did have a skills program in high school. So I did the nursing program.
Well, that's back in the 90s. Yeah, we did.
But when I got to the Air Force, I went a different way.
Of course we did.
But I always in the hospital stayed on top of the SOPs, and I did clinician skills. I learned how to, start this and do that and do the third. And I said to him one day, we were sitting on the bed, I said, what if God prepared me from 9 years old to a moment like this one, because there was no other purpose in my life for nursing. This would be like, from 9 to about 30, all you did was nursing. All you thought about was nursing. All you studied and consumed was nursing. And I never did it as an occupation. I'm not even in healthcare anymore. I'm in tech now. And I sat on the bed, he was kind of feeling better, and I was holding his hand and caressing his face. I said, what if God prepared me all those years for this moment? And he said, God must really love me because, boy, it would have been rough without you. I said, yeah.
Who are you talking about?
I was talking about you. You said it'd have been rough without me.
What are you talking about? I would have died.
Oh, well, there's that. There's that.
I mean, I ain't trying. I just would have died without you.
I wasn't going to let it happen. I bite your tongue. I'm not ever going to let that happen to you.
What do you mean? I wouldn't have.
Plus, y'all know I
wouldn't have paid for I wouldn't have paid for the blood.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's a good thing God knew. Like, this fool going to die because he don't want to peel off his Bitcoin.
I wouldn't have paid for the blood. I would have died.
Jay said, Simon like me, how much it costs for me to live? $800? Y'all can't get it done for $6?
That's what I'm saying.
This is why you need Mrs. Fever.
This is what I'm saying. I would have died if she wasn't there. It's like that. I ain't been
It's just like, y'all. That's why women live longer than men. Every day of the week.
I believe it.
Cryptonomics says, no, it wasn't your health. You just had some bad chicken. But he was trying to figure out those funds were available so quick. Not as quick as you think that they were. But like I said, I had a great cushion. Yeah, so when I made that first transfer that night, by the time I needed it, it was available. To the point where when he was returned back home, we were still receiving deposits, and he was putting them shits back. He said, Aaron, this ain't an Amazon run you about to do. You ain't about to go on Amazon tonight. But he put that money back. So yes, Cryptonomics, you're right. It wasn't as fast.
And as the head of a household, you can't really control this. And I apologize profusely to my wife and all that because, I took a lot of the money I took away.
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
So I apologize a lot for that.
Nope. I'd have paid $1 million if it saved your life. I don't care nothing about that.
I wouldn't have paid.
I don't care nothing about that. All right, I'm telling you right now, I don't care about that. The money is our money. It is for the family.
But that's why it saved my life, I guess.
So I don't care if it was $1 million we peeled off. I would have spent it to save your life. So just stop it.
I wouldn't have lived.
Boomers were the yuppies. Oh, Cousin Phantom, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. Boomers were the yuppies in the 80s.
Yeah.
Dear Bit said, jokes, guys. I'm with you guys because you're younger and understand all good. Cousin 10 said, donuts provide yield. Don't hate on people telling you optimal MicroStrategy. DeFi is a group of strangers going in circles on the internet.
Oh, not them guys.
What's good, Reggie? Reggie on here? Reggie who? Oh, Reggie. Our Reggie. I'm thinking Reggie Middleton. Like, Reggie Middleton on here? Our Reggie. Master Chef, explain that cake. Your cousin Jake, they done let the baby ice the cake and put the sprinkle. Look at this cake. Look at that cake. I said, oh, Lord, y'all done let the baby tear the cake up. He said, explain that cake. He said, well, Tino was begging. Look at
Tastes-
Cryptonomics' face.
tastes
Gordon
good.
smashed that cake.
Oh,
It
y'all
tastes
see-
delicious.
Oh, y'all seen that? I didn't know
Yep,
that.
he said he smashed that
I was
cake.
trying to lean over outside of the thing. I'm
He
hungry
said, I'm
now.
amazed at how quickly you got the cash on the Bitcoin and PMs. Yeah, no, it wasn't as fast as you think, but I'm pulling off large sums of money. And like I
Yeah,
said, we
man,
had to put large sums of money back.
She taking off all the money, man. Talking about,
Yeah, it did.
you need it. You need
Yeah.
this. I'm like, well.
It is. I think it's a little
Let
bit
me tell
faster,
you.
but it's not
So-
like it wasn't. It's not like Cash App Bitcoin where I can just
So
sell.
let me tell you, who
and I
said
got
that?
it.
Who said that?
That's Cousin Cryptonomics.
So let me tell you.
It's not as fast as you think.
So let me tell you what happened. No, I'm gonna tell you something.
I know, Cousin T. Willine. That's the mistake
What
I
did he
made.
say?
He said, "Don't take from the old wallets." Cousin T. Willine, I was panicked, right? And like I said, I'm like trying to think, and I figured in my mind, the old wallet that would have did the work already. But we want the new money to become productive. But you right after I did it, I said, "Fuck, those are like real sats. Those are like the original sats." I wasn't thinking. Right, my baby was dying. They were telling me like, that's what they were telling me. So now I'm making decisions. I'm kind of sort of making them in emotion, but my logic in that moment was this money would have been as productive as it could have possibly been. Let me take that off first.
Yeah, and
but they are worth way more. And I was panicked. My baby was dying.
No worries.
She said nothing. The check was good. They were questioning why my black ass was wanting 20,000. That's crazy. And the police showed up at your house to question that. What city you live in? What city you live in, dear bit?
Come on, man. Give us something, man. I hope it ain't Milwaukee.
Cousin Jake said, I think letting the immigrants back in from when they left during COVID lockdowns. Oh, you think they need to work the country? Still a replacement situation. I think Cryptonomics was the one who gave me that, like the political aspect of what they were trying to do.
I'm not big in politics, but we do know that they're below replacement and they're trying to replace certain groups of voting blocks. And so it's going to be hard. Their main agenda is to replace the white voting bloc with the Latinos.
There's that. And then us with anybody else.
Yeah, us with anybody else.
So you don't even have to be human, right? You can be a reptilian. You can be a freaking Nephilim. Anything but them Negroes.
They at least trying to do something respectable.
That's so funny. Cryptonomics says she got to be a Virgo. Cryptonomics, tell me why you think I'm Virgo when I'm 100% Aquarius.
That's funny though.
Why did you think I was Virgo? Because I was emotional.
I don't know.
I was emotional. They were telling me. That's why I'd be like, bite your tongue. Cousin Jake, old wallet has more tax implications most likely. I know. I'm gonna be. But look, like I said, I would have paid $1 million if it means I have my second half. That's my soul. That's my everything. She would have been here
doing this show by herself.
No, she wouldn't be. No, she wouldn't. I'll come on here and tell y'all what happened and we be done with this. But yes. I know. That was my biggest blunder. Right. But again, like I said, you're standing in an emergency room where they're telling you this, you're going to make a mistake or two. Right? I'm trembling as I'm trying to get in front of this thing.
I'll tell you, I mean, you know, we had meant to come back and tell the more detailed story. But I think we never got to it, but we can if need be. But so if you look at it like this, Cousin T. Willine.
It's probably Cousin Jake you about to talk to.
Cousin Jake, okay, if you look at it like this, I'm probably like her counsel. And so
usually I go to
I wasn't there to help counsel her.
That's the God honest truth. I usually go to him.
In the first 2 days, or was it two or 3 days? I was kind of
barely conscious.
Yeah, I was kind of out of it.
He was not really alert and oriented.
So I couldn't help.
He was responsive.
I couldn't help. But if I would have been there, I would have helped best I could. But
but like when I go to do anything for the business, if I go to do anything extraordinary for the house, I do go to him first. So that's another kind of why I made the mistake. For those of y'all who are new and you don't know this, This whole show started because my husband was mentoring me in finance. He's mentoring me in economics. He's mentoring me in all of these different areas of finance and economics, right? So that includes Bitcoin, it includes precious metals, gains, losses, bull runs,
Markets.
bear markets. Thank you,
Bear
because it's not a
markets.
bear run. It's a bear
You
market.
gotta love them.
Flags, reading charts, understanding the fear and the greed factor, understanding, all of these different elements. So I'm still a student. I know we come on here and a lot of you guys are like, oh my God, you're so knowledgeable and yada, yada, yada. I'm still a student. I'm still in school. And you guys can see on the show sometimes you'll ask me questions and you'll see me like, okay, I think I know the answer. Sometimes I don't know the answer,
Yeah,
but I
good.
am still learning. I'm still learning. So yes, looking back on it, that was a big mistake. Again, the rationale I had in a moment when people are looking me in the face and telling me, ma'am,
Hey,
right, we're
man.
gonna do what we can, but
They're shaking me off, man. Come on.
right, I made a decision probably
Don't shake
in
me off.
emotion, but based off of bad information.
Yeah, but
Um,
you.
But like I said, I needed to do whatever it took to save his life.
Yeah.
Right. So that's really what it is. And like I said, as soon as we got home, first thing he did was like, where's the phone at? He took the
Yeah.
phone and he started to put money back and stuff like that. So yes, I did. It has bigger tax implications. The SATs are more what we would call robust because
Yeah.
they're older. Um, in that moment, as you're telling me these things, I just thought like this is the most productive money.
Yeah,
So let me use this first.
I wish I could have been there to help,
And
but I was out.
I didn't have my counsel
I
and I
was
didn't
out.
know who to call.
I was
And at
out.
that moment,
I was out.
you're trying to move as fast as possible because you don't know how much time you have.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So y'all think about this. Easy for us to sit down and analyze it because he's smiling, he's here, he's breathing, but he's barely conscious, he's barely responding. And, I made that big, huge mistake.
It's
I'll
not a
know
huge
next
mistake. It
time.
wasn't. I mean, it's still.
I mean, it's not a huge mistake, but again, it is
It's
a
a
like
couple dollars.
almost like
It's a couple dollars we're gonna have to pay. It's all right.
like a rookie mistake. It's basically, I think, what they're getting at. Like, Aaron, that was a rookie mistake
It's all
on your
right.
part.
It's all right. If I would have been there, I'd have been like, "Hey, man, don't do that."
So that's really what went wrong with
I'd
that.
have been like, "Don't do
But
that."
and I'm gonna tell you what, right? We sit here and we talk about that. I had a 304 come into my comments when I was
304.
asking for prayer. They know what 304 is. When I was asking for prayer, and she was like, wait, how much is his life insurance first?
Yeah, there we go.
Like we live in a generation of some evil, evil people. And if she thought that that was a joke or something that was going to make me laugh, I don't play when it comes to him. I don't play at all. I don't play when it comes to him. I don't play when it comes to my kids. But I am not part of that heathen talk when y'all disrespect y'all spouses, baby daddies, or whoever is supposed to be leading your household. I don't contribute to them jokes. I don't laugh at them jokes. I don't think that they're funny. So y'all just have to understand that when it came down to I was almost going to lose my actual heart, she was willing to do fucking whatever. Right? She was willing to do whatever it took to preserve his life. And that's just the end of that. Y'all send me the emails. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I didn't find that joke funny at how much I said life insurance could have been $700 trillion. Don't nobody want that money like that. And I'm not about to be one of those women who tell you they gonna live their best life because they don't have their man telling them what to do and stuff. My husband does not boss me around, but his leadership is beneficial. So I'll be the first to tell y'all, my husband tell me what to do, I do that shit. You know why? Because I enjoy significant beneficial outcomes from listening to his advice, from listening to his instructions, from listening to his direction. I don't play that new 2024, F these men and this, that, and the third. I don't play that.
Yeah.
I don't play that at all.
Thank you.
It's not funny and it's not cute.
No.
Cousin A said, I think they let them come back to the jobs that Americans won't do anymore.
Huh?
I agree with that. And for the pay that they want to pay, right? Because y'all see that minimum wage ain't moving. It is not moving. Now, here's the thing though, and people may be missing this. And hopefully I don't offend anybody. Usually I don't care if I offend anybody, but I hope I don't offend anybody with this, right? It's not my intention to offend anyone with this. We're moving from one era to another.
Mm-hmm.
And we're moving from what I call the brick and mortar era
Mm-hmm.
to the digital era. You guys know that digital is like, it's a non-tangible thing.
Yeah.
So your goal, your objective is you have to be fluid with the era that you're moving into. If you are trying to do a lot of brick and mortar things, you're noticing that there's almost not really no money in it.
No.
But it was the thing you could lean on when you were unskilled.
Yes. Okay. So
The digital era is forcing people to find a skill and master it.
A digital skill.
Some type of digital skill.
So I watched a video the other day, and I don't know if this is going off topic, but we can circle back around. It was by Michael Saylor, and he was really
T. Willon said, I'm going to clip that rant that you had and do a reaction.
Michael Saylor was talking about having physical property and all the things that are wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
All the what would you call it?
When you say physical property, you mean like physical gold and stuff like that? Versus
it's talking about like having
physical real estate, real property.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. real property. Mm-hmm.
So the drawbacks of that, and then he just named them, and he named five different taxes that you have when you have physical
real
property.
Mm-hmm.
Real property, and he was just naming because that's the investment that people run to. And he keeps trying to say that this is property in cyberspace that you could run to.
Mm-hmm.
And, people have all this property. Like sometimes the property is, you get the property in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's like, okay, you get but pristine property, but then sometimes you have property you can't use. Look how much of the United States, 96% of the United States is not being used.
It's not inhabited.
Everybody,
I remember Singapore. When he did the aerial view, everybody's living in cages because there's nowhere to live. But they showed you, was it 97% of Singapore?
Yeah. They don't build out on because it's a mountain. It's like it's not even a mountain. It's like a cliff.
Now they tell you that.
Cliff.
They tell you that. But the truth of the matter is they create scarcity on purpose.
Makes price go up.
Right. It's about them making money. It's not about people being able to live.
But America, if you will, is 96% uninhabited. If you go do the numbers on that, you say, well, how can that be? Well, everybody lives on the East Coast, down south, and they live on the West Coast up in LA. And if you look at California, which is a huge state, people either live in the Bay Area or they live in
by
LA.
The water.
And there's so much empty space in LA. Mm-hmm. Do you know how much empty space there is in Texas? You see, there's some cities there that got a lot of high populations, but it's a lot of empty space. Mm-hmm. Empty space down south, empty space in the middle of America. Mm-hmm. And for anybody who's ever taken road trips across middle America, you'll know there's nothing out there. You start driving across Iowa.
Yeah, but even when you drive down the East Coast, babe, like if you're going from New York to Maryland and you're driving through Pennsylvania and Delaware and Virginia, it's a lot of farmland. And I don't even know if those farms are occupied.
Right there, just right there.
But even when you keep going, right, you're going down through the Carolinas and stuff like that, it's not nothing.
It's not nothing. And so people have to understand.
And the cities are.
People have to understand that a lot of the land it's not really occupied. Not that somebody doesn't own it. Somebody owns it, right? Somebody owns it, but it's not. There's no use. It's not useful, as they say. If you go see, is there utilities ran to it? Mm-hmm. Right? They used to sell.
Can you run utilities through it?
Yeah, they used to sell parcels of land for very, very cheap. And you go out and what's Nevada, mm-hmm. Colorado, these places will sell parcels of land, but number one, they don't have any utilities run to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two, you can't do anything with them. You can't camp on them. You can't get any kind of licensure, and all this stuff. And so it made you think, like, well, so why should I buy the land?
Mm-hmm. That's what he was saying. He said,
And
while it's not inhabited, people be owning thousands of acres, and a lot of times they can't really do nothing with it.
can't do anything with it.
You can't even like squat.
Yeah, because now you have
land.
the way they have the land is what do you call it? Because it's squares.
There's a word for it. They're lots.
The lots. There we go.
They're lots.
Thank you. It's lots, and then you got easements.
Like, so, this is lot 10 that we own.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's
Mm-hmm.
lots, and then there are easements. So you can't even have
or
anything.
A parcel number.
Yeah, you have to have. You got to go talk to somebody, so and so, and say if it's okay, if you can have some kind of utilities run up through.
It's a lot.
Because it might have to come through their lot to get to your lot.
Because he right, people own thousands of acres, and it's like,
and they'll tell you no, and then now you can't get nothing. I read a thing about a guy. He had his own lot. He had his own parcel and lot, and he went out there just to chill and
drink a beer,
and camp
and admire his land
and camp. And they came and kicked him off. Kicked him off his own parcel and land.
But he was able. I remember that he was able to prove like this is my like he was waiting. He was anticipating that should this happen, I have the thing that proves that, and they still forced him off of it.
Yeah, because they forced him off, saying you can't do this because of this, and they got some kind
of. They have all of these.
Yeah, you can't. And so, what good is owning the land if I can't go just sit there?
Right, and that's what Cousin T was saying.
And drink
you can't access the land without trespassing in some which way, shape, or form.
Thank you. See, thank you. You can't because you need easements, and if you can't, you have to trespass. See, he's right on top of it. Because if there's no easement, you have to trespass. You got to go over somebody's land. And what happens in America when you trespass on somebody's land?
Cops. Whoop whoop.
And if the cops don't come,
or the Rangers or whatever they.
But what happens if the cops don't come?
The people themselves come with a shotgun.
Yeah, they shoot your ass. So you don't trespass on nobody's land
to get to your own
in Middle America. Please don't, because everybody got a gun.
Our property is set up like that here. Every so often, a car will wander into my private drive. I got to go downstairs like, who is this just rolling up? And we have a private drive in front of our house. And then we got the back way, which isn't really a drive. We just too lazy to come up them 45 steps or whatever from the bottom because we live on a mountain. So you can imagine how the house is built in order to be level.
I can't.
And I got to come downstairs and be like, can I help you? And then they'll tell me like, my name is such and such. And we own, and they'll show me right on the paper, we own. They don't have parcel numbers in Mexico. They only have lot numbers. In America, we have parcel and lot. So we own lot number, da-da-da-da-da-da. And the lot is, so from our house to the actual street is just prairie grass. There's nothing there. And they have this like lot of land in between our private drive and the actual street, which is probably about half a mile wide. You think, babe?
Oh, half a mile. That's a lot.
You think it's a little bit, maybe a quarter mile?
Wow.
So from the front lot, from the front drive to the actual street where we drive, what do you think? Maybe a quarter of a mile wide, the area between the two.
10th, but maybe up to a quarter.
Okay, so fraction of a mile, right?
Yeah, fraction of a mile.
But it's just in the middle of this prairie grass. There's nothing there. You are free to go look at it, but you park your car on the public street. Like, don't roll into my private drive to look at your parcel of land, which is in front of our land. You know what I'm saying?
So,
and they don't have no like I would never pull into somebody's private drive in order to do that. I would have parked on the street. I would have parked on the front, put my hazards on. I'm not going to pull into your private drive. We even have, Simon had found a cute little sign that said like Simon's Way. So we have a little sign up there that they put up for us. Yeah. What is you doing?
So yeah, but
so we have that here too.
But I want to get back to what he's saying. You are trespassing. Like you'll get a plot of land in the middle in Colorado, and it's like in encompassed by a whole bunch of other lots.
But they're trespassing when they park on our private drive to go look
Oh
at
no,
their
no,
land.
you're right. You're definitely right. You're
trespassing
definitely
too.
right. But yeah. So they would hype you up to buy some land, right? And then you got some land and you own some useless
And you don't
land.
know what to do with it.
And there's nothing you could do with it. I mean, are you a homesteader?
No.
So what you gonna go do with this land out
Nothing.
here, man?
Absolutely nothing. T. Willine, when you do that rant, here's an addendum to the rant. In a marriage, we always talk about leveraging strengths against weaknesses, right? We should talk about humility. We had a show the other day. You may or may not have been on there. No, I was on a different show. I was featured on somebody's show. This is Bless's show.
Oh, okay.
I was featured on somebody's show.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I was explaining that justice of the peace marriages statistically last longer than these big princess or the bride weddings, right?
Yeah.
And it's because when you get married at the justice of the peace, it's not my day, it's our day. And the focus and everything is on each other. That's why JOP marriages last for so long. Whereas when you have these big princess of the bride wedding days, it's my day, it's about me. And then you have these bridezillas, right? Where the man is not considered at all on the day that's supposed to be about both of us. It's all about you. So we have a JOP marriage, right? San Antonio, y'all free to look it up. And it's public record. So there's a humility that I approach our marriage with. God says, be meek and approach me humbly, right? This is his institution. So I approach marriage with a humble heart. I am fine. I'm an intelligent woman. I am spiritually inclined. There is nothing wrong with me knowing that my husband is smarter than me. Don't bother me one iota. As a matter of fact, I take full advantage of it, that he is smarter than I am. Okay. Right? He is well versed, breadth, depth. I know we're going to get off in a minute. Breadth, depth, everything when it comes to a lot of the real world applications that we need to run a household, to raise children, to have a certain level of lifestyle. Right? I'm humble to that. So yes, I don't have a problem saying that when my husband instructs me to do something, I know he knows what he's doing, and I am gladly going to follow your leadership. Right? That's why I don't play them 2024 games where the woman is like this, that, and the third, and I'm smarter than he is. You might be smarter than your husband. Okay. I know where I stand in this relationship. I don't have a problem with him being smarter than me. I welcome it. I'm grateful for it. And I am able to kind of learn as we go along and enhance my own educational lifestyle, whatever, financial portfolio, right? I like that. I enjoy it and I'm grateful for it. I don't take, not advantage, what's the word? I don't take it for granted. I take full advantage of it. I sit at his little feet. I listen to what he's saying. I take notes. Y'all don't even notice because we do the show. Don't I have a think book I take everywhere with me? We together all the time, and sometimes he'll just start talking. Yeah. I pull out my little think book. I take my notes and stuff like that. We don't play that 2024 modern woman shit. We don't play it. So make sure you add that to the rant. When we met each other, we weren't. You know how some people be like, oh, I like her because she got a big booty, or I like him because he got a whole bunch of money. That's not how we started our relationship, right? I thought he was handsome and I thought he was really, really smart. I like that. I don't know what he thought. He probably thought I was pretty and probably really, really smart too, or something, whatever he thought. But we entered into the situation properly. Now, did we have an easy marriage? No, no marriage is easy. We had hell, we have heaven, right? We go through stuff. So I never want to give y'all that we have a perfect marriage, because we did have to grow into our marriage and grow into appreciating one another. But we're here, right? I've grown into appreciating my husband, which is why I was willing to do whatever it took to save his life, right? And saving his life in a way saved my own. I tell you that all the time. He changed my life. I'll never forget that. He's given me skills and stuff that I can use, that I do use in the real world, which makes me dynamic at work. Anything that I do, I'm uber dynamic because of what he pours into me not just financially, but spiritually and educationally. I'm going to call it education.
Okay.
Because regardless of what you're teaching me is education.
Yeah.
But I'm able to take the things he teaches me and utilize it in a real world application, which makes me more dynamic than the female standing next to me. And that changed my life. It gave me, like I said, significant beneficial outcomes where I'm able to live a lifestyle that I think I deserve as a woman, but there's work that comes with that. I'm not in there trying to reach into his pockets. I'm there trying to build it with him. So add that to the rant because that is the big part of what's missing. The leveraging of strengths against weaknesses, being humble, knowing if somebody's smart and there's nothing wrong with it, use that to your advantage. Don't compete with them. We don't have no competition in this relationship. You in charge. We get it. And we do what you say to do. You've earned your leadership role 1,000,000,000,000,000%. And I don't play with it. And I don't play these 2024 games.
Okay.
Like that, them jokes and them skits and all of that shit that disrespects the man in your life.
Let's see what this.
But we done.
Yeah, we done. I'm
so glad you guys are on the upswing. You youngins educate me always. I appreciate you. We appreciate all of you.
Yes, thank you.
This was a very robust conversation. But start thinking about, if you're not already thinking about it, start thinking about as deposits come in, maybe you need to be more proactive when deposits are coming into your big three, right? We call them the tier one banks.
Yeah.
Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo. I think Citigroup is also a tier one bank.
Yeah, they're the fourth.
Start thinking about it. When my deposits hit, I want to be Johnny on the spot that day and make sure I'm able to move out what I can move out. So I'm only keeping in there what I need to do, whatever I need to do. That way, if God forbid something happens, your loss isn't so great.
Yeah, and remember what she's talking about. It doesn't have to be physical. I mean, if you need to move $1,000 from a tier one bank like Bank of America straight up to an account, that you have somewhere else where, for example, I'm not a big fan of Coinbase. So I don't like to use okay, I use Cash App. So
I was going to say Cash App.
Yeah, say you want to move it over there.
And use that in dollar cost in the Bitcoin, and when you need to take it out, take it out.
Take it out when you need to take it out.
We're hodlers, so that's not typical advice we would give, but just depending on your situation.
Yeah, I know there's fees, and it's a taxable event. Even if you sold for $100, that's a taxable event.
But if an event occurs, you got to take the shit out. We learned that the hard way.
But get it out of the bank, and if you like cash on hand, like Cryptonomics, then go get it. If you got it in the bank, go get it.
That's true. You might as well just have it at home.
Yeah, have it at home.
Or like we always talk about precious metals, right? Slow and steady wins that race.
It does.
Because I use that
precious
as well.
Metals at home is always a good thing. It's always a good thing. So, we have everything at home. It's always a good thing. But we kept you guys too long. It's almost a 2-hour minute.
Yeah, we're getting off.
And so Erin, she's gonna eat her piece of cake. I crushed mine. I missed that. I thought y'all didn't see me, but I crushed mine, and her cake. She's looking at it right now. She's hungry.
Not really. I told you I did my little vitamin spray.
Oh, okay.
That's why I haven't touched it yet. Normally, I love sugar.
So,
but I'm glad because I drank that cappuccino while we were doing it. I couldn't even finish it. It's so sweet.
I didn't know what you was drinking.
It's a cappuccino. Reggie made it, but he was upset because we didn't have no whipped cream to make the Starbucks fancy. I get so fancy.
Have you ever had whipped cream?
No, but he said that's how they make it when he see it on TikTok. So I'm gonna get some whipped cream so he can make it. But we love y'all, and again, we're gonna try to pop in.
Did we read everybody?
I did.
Okay.
She said she enjoyed it. Have a blessed week.
Okay.
We're going to try to pop in when he feels good. We're going to try to pop in. And he's having a really great day. So I'm hoping that the trend persists. But we love y'all. And hopefully we'll see you guys next week.